large as this and quite so dominant, I think there is really a genuine reason why we need to look again at that business model. And the figures I think which are most startling is that Uber paid £411,000 in corporation tax in 2016 on a turnover of 23.3 million, and that masks a number of payments as well. And they set themselves up well, and I understand that competition. My concern here is that who is going to pay ultimately for the roads and the conditions that we're in if they are not to contribute. Now, black cabs are contributing through their tax and national insurance, and the other private hire vehicles, many of whom have been used regularly and absolutely above board, they all have to pay through tax and the way their company tax and regulations are set. But this organisation gets away with making next to no contribution to the road state and to the nature of what they use as they ply their businesses, although they keep on saying that they're not the ones that ply their trade, it's the drivers who are independent. But the result is they wouldn't be able to ply their trade if there wasn't Uber there, and it would be a very different game. And I also say that and I'm going to conclude on this today, my real concern is that, and I want to mention a few names of some of my constituents who have seen me over this: Ron Nicholson, Martin Franks, Mark Digan, Stephen Tyson, Trevor Board, and others who I've met, and they're all straightforward people who are trying to earn a living. And we have in London, in the black cab system, arguably the most admired system in the world. You know, it's on all the posters. You know, I noticed that the ministers for trade go out selling the idea of coming here to get black cabs, and yet. And when we regulate this incredibly highly, and it has to have disabled access, and obviously proud of the fact that that is the case, and unlike going to a place like New York or whatever, where you tend to find there's a bit more of a free-for-all, here we do generally have a seriously good service with people that are really straightforward and want to do a good job. And we regulate them, and yet they're in competition with them now with using this app is an organisation that has to do none of these things, and at the same time has now broken this point about hailing from the road. The truth is, the app now makes it almost old, ancient history. The reality is they are, in essence, getting passengers from the road because of the use of the app. So we need to rethink this. We cannot have it both ways. I think we have to decide either we admire, want to continue with a service of regulated vehicles and drivers that produces an excellent service, particularly in central London, or we don't. But you can't have this unfair level of competition, this unlevel playing field which is taking place, and the result, as I say, of higher congestion. So I would urge my right honourable friend to take into consideration what is the consensus, particularly of those of us who are London MPs, but wider too, many who come down from other constituencies and use what is an excellent service here. I would urge him to take consideration that now is the time not just to take this report into consideration and to do something about it, but to genuinely ask that question: do we really value what we've got? Because if we don't, we will lose it, and if we lose it, we will end up in an absolute free-for-all.